right, we got 2 minutes left here until the close. And yep, should be good now, should be live. Should be able to hear me and see charts. We'll be going over the market, going over today's plays. So let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for November 8th, 2021. Qs basically flat here, down 45 cents, 0.12%. IWM up 0.25% there, and then the SPY basically flat. So if you were trading with me this morning at the open, my expectation for the market this morning was not a whole lot. Okay, I neutral at the open. Overall, we're bullish, but just like I said at the open, I'm not expecting much. It may move up a little bit, may move down a little bit. We're pretty extended, but we're bullish, so I don't expect us to rally hard. I don't expect us to fall apart. I just expect us to chop around sideways. And if I'm wrong, then we'll adjust. But that ended up being the scenario for today. Pretty narrow range day that we got. Okay, so that was the Qs for today. Now, what about tomorrow? Underneath yesterday's low, expecting a bit of a pullback. All right, so we're going to shift to neutral underneath yesterday's low. That's the plan. Because we still have a 20 MA pointing up here. How far are we going to pull back? I don't know, maybe to 390, but we'll see what that looks like. So definitely some room below. Probably not going to be very fluid move down. Probably a lot of back and forth here. Okay, on the Qs and SPY. So underneath yesterday's low, we'll shift to short-term neutral. That's the closing bell. Short-term neutral. Okay. All right, nice little inside day that we got here today. All right, on to today's individual trades. We went after the TTD to start things off here. TTD, look at the gap there. Nice gap, clearing a lot of resistance there on the daily. And nice little lower high that we created here. And then entry right over that pivot or high of the day. Either way is fine. I ended up doing it just a little bit earlier, over 83.31. And then stop was the end of that little pullback. So on the 1 minute here, you can see the trend change a little bit better. That's the 2 minute, but here we go to the 1 minute. See the 1 minute here. If this were going to move lower, then I would expect this to produce a lower high and roll over. So because it did not, and because it really liked the gap, so I'm bullish on it due to the gap, then I played it long. Target one for me was just based on risk units. 86.30 was the first target. So we got there, or was it 87.30? It was about $1.50 stop. So I need about $3. Yeah, so 87.30. Yeah, so I got the first target right in here. And then on the next move up, went ahead and took it. Actually, could have held this one all day. I just didn't like how kind of jumpy this was. A little bit spready on the TTD, but hourly could have stayed in until end of day. It wouldn't have made a huge difference, I think, on this, but definitely would have made some difference. A little bit nicer to have been in all day on the TTD, but that was good. Yeah, a little over 2 hours on that one to start things off. Next play was the BTRS. BTRS, however, did not work. Here was the breakout on the BTRS. I'll show you the gap as well. Here it is, base breakout right here. And I was kind of surprised that this didn't work, especially after the move that it made right after the entry. So here's where I got kind of triggered in, and then looked like it wasn't going to work at first. Then it went up and made a new high, and I thought, okay, felt pretty good about that. It should be good to go on the BTRS. But it actually didn't work. Okay, so, there wasn't really any adjustments to be made, I think, as far as this. Yes, I could have maybe tightened up the stop or brought it up or something. Here was the gap. Clearing a couple red bars. Thought we might get a little bit more follow through, challenging that downtrend. If we got half the move that we got on the CBAT, which is a very similar kind of daily that it's putting in here, severe downtrend, challenging that downtrend, huge move on the CBAT. I think they're not the same. They're a little bit different as far as sector-wise, I think. But I like the gap on the BRTS, so I thought it was, or BTRS, so I thought it was worth a shot. Just didn't get it to a target, didn't get that much follow through. I guess it's still going to close kind of green here, but that was not enough of a move for me to take some profit there on that. Okay, a lot of breakouts that we took today. I didn't think there were that many good short ideas. And then Tuya, really nice call from Sammy on this base breakout. So I see another type base here. Nice follow through, home run on that one. TUYA again on this one. Pretty beaten up here on the daily, and then getting the kind of nice move after maybe potentially putting in the bottom. So on the TUYA, nice little move there. And then my last play here of the day was the CHPT, which I played. You can see this is kind of a similar entry. I'll show you to the TTD. TTD was off the 2. This is off the 5. So if this were going to go lower, then I would expect this to be a lower high. If it cancels that out, that's the negation of a bearish event. It should be bullish. And then the gap's not bad. It's just okay. I like the gap though. So not as good as the TTD, but it's the same kind of entry here on the CHPT over that. Like I said, I'll show you here. Here's what it looked like on the 15, threatening to do a lower high, but once it cancels it out, that's where I'm getting in over the pivot. Here was the entry on the TTD on the 2 minute. I'll highlight that for you as well so you can see kind of the similarities there. Here is the TTD. Okay, so negation of a bearish event on a bullish stock, right, is permission for me anyway to play it long. So the CHPT, however, didn't really make anything. Just closed it here at the end of the day. Yeah, 27.60. So you can see it was okay, I think, to take some here. I was looking for more. It only gave about an hour and a half. I was looking for at least 2 hours on the front half. So yeah, I didn't end up making much on this one, but that's fine. You know, some plays are going to be like that. You know, it's just kind of how normal trading is, right? And I think if you've been watching the market wrap for long enough, you know that's just how it is. Some trades end up making a little bit, and then some trades don't work, and then you know it's all about really these trades like the TTD, which make multiple R's, right? That's ultimately what drives the P&L. Okay, but you're gonna have everything in between. Trades that are a little bit better than break even, trades that don't work, and the trades that work really nicely. What we should not have, right, are the trades that don't work and then become a disaster because, you know, we're either married to it, refuse to admit that we're wrong, whatever. Right? As long as we don't have those, then I'm fine operating, dealing with all these. They're not going to bother me at all. As long as they're good trades, which, like, I don't have a problem with the BTRS not working. Would have been a much nicer day if it had, especially if it got to a decent target, but that's fine. Okay. Now, it's not even like this one didn't work and would have just fallen apart and ruined your day. That's fine. But I would rather, let's take the stop and move on. I'm not going to try to babysit this thing if it's not going to go anywhere, right? I can move on to other trades, find nicer things to play, right? And not be completely distracted by something that ends up not going. You know, that did end up being a breakout failure. So not surprising that it didn't go back up. But, you know, this is ultimately, I think, still got some bullish momentum behind it, which is why it's still closing up here as a decently green bar. Okay. So I think, again, like last Monday, a bit of a quiet start to the week. That's fine. You know, but I think overall we did a pretty good job as far as play selection today. And I think we'll keep it up to the rest of the week. I think as the week gets busy, just like it did last week, the focus becomes a little bit, for me anyway, less on play selection, more on sticking with management. Because, you know, when you got 4 or 5 plays open, it gets a little bit harder to juggle, a little bit easier to get thrown off balance or do something that, you know, just to react to things. So I think as we kind of get busier, that'll be more the focus. On a day like today, it's really about being selective. And just like when we move out of earnings season, it's going to be more like the tempo is going to be more like today was. Less plays, only focus on high quality stuff. But when you have a bunch of decent to good quality things, like I think we will at least Tuesday through Thursday and maybe Friday, then we're gonna play them, and then the focus is really on the management. Okay. All right. Hope you did well today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.